Welcome to this overview of the Akili oil and gas asset planning solution. This asset planning solution is based on Akili's experience with oil and gas clients over many years working with them on planning solutions at the well level to provide them a profile of their entire asset from both an operational and an economic perspective. So what we're going to show you today is a quick view of some of the data that we use to derive the operational forecast that results in a full financial forecast, including cash flow and an overview of the income statement and what we're going to show you today. So the key data elements that we use in this solution include type curves, cost profiles, and well attributes. So we'll look at these quickly. So the type curve data, as what you would expect, it provides a view of monthly type curves, and this can go out for whatever your planning horizon is. And it provides for each month for a type curve, such as this type curve here, what the production would be each month for both oil and gas for a well that uses this type curve profile. So I can have any number of type curves in my profiles, and those can vary by different versions of my plan. I might have an annual operating plan, and I might have a different version of my forecast, which is something you'll see throughout this quick view of what we're showing you. So I can select a profile, I can see that, I can choose another profile, I can see that curve. I can change that curve from here if I'd like. I simply go in and change this type curve to 35,000 barrels in the first month of production. You can see that's immediately reflected in my profile here. Often this data will be loaded from another source from your engineering data. One of the other key components is the cost profile. This includes both the capital cost profile, which will be broken into different drilling activity components, such as drilling, stimulation or fracking, and production costs, or tie-in costs, as well as maybe cost drivers, where you have fixed components and variable components that you use to complete your plan. We also, one of the key elements that's also important within this process are understanding the well attributes. So this would include your set of wells and would include things for wells that are going to be drilled in the future, such as the type curve for the well that we were just looking at, or that capital cost profile that we were just looking at, as well as things such as your working interest to drive gross and net calculations, and the dates that would drive the timing of those drilling activities that we were looking at. So those key components together will allow you to build a production volume forecast. And so we can separate this into our current base production, meaning our wells that are already drilled and are in production. And of course, those are going to be declining over time based on those type curves and the projections of those. But based on our drilling activity, we're going to have new wells coming online, adding capability until eventually I get to my total production forecast. Again, they can have various versions of this. I can have this driving all the way down to different levels of my organization and can quickly see that forecast at those different levels. So I can, as you can see with this hierarchy, I can drill this all the way down to a well level and see a well that is not going into production until a future period. In addition, I obviously am going to have pricing assumptions. I can have these pricing assumptions at different levels, and I can have a different structure to derive this. What we see with companies, they're always going to be working off some level of a commodity price, which could be loaded from another source. And I may have some level of differentials that get applied to those commodity pricings to eventually lead me to an adjusted price. That data, along with that production curve, can lead to a cash flow view of my business at, again, looking at essentially almost any level of my business. So if I look at year, and you can see I have a long time planning horizon set up here. If I look at the year, fiscal year 20, I can see what my total net income is for that year, what my drilling cost would be, my stimulation cost, and my net cash flow. I may have other components, but for simplicity, we are looking at just a few components here. I've also brought into this page the ability to show you, which, by the way, we have all of the detail here that supports that cash flow. But I can go all the way down to a well level, and I can see the impact of this well on my cash flow. And I'm looking at this, and right now I see my drilling activity and my put online dates are out in the future. I go look into that time period and look at fiscal 21. I can see that I'm incurring some drilling activity and stimulation costs in these time periods. And eventually I go into production in May and start recognizing revenue, and I can see my cash flow from operations period over period. In addition, I can quickly and easily within Anaplan change this information about this well and change the impact of this well on my forecast. So as an example, if I decide that I need to move this well out several months before I can complete facilities and tie that well into production, I can change that date, and it will dynamically move the initial production and then therefore all the associated revenue out into a future period. That could be done on any of these dates, and there are many ways that we can generate capabilities to update this, including tying into drilling systems to dynamically update that information. And this data obviously will eventually flow through to a full financial forecast at a well level or at a total company level. So the Akili solution provides you the ability to use and leverage your operational data to generate a well level forecast that can be aggregated quickly and easily at an asset level, and provides you the ability to leverage that operational data to do that, but also provides you the ability in a very flexible and dynamic way to alter your assumptions and look at the impact of those assumptions on your forecast over your entire planning horizon. So I hope you enjoyed this overview, and would love to share more information with you about how we can help you with your planning processes.